As President Muhammadu Buhari announced plan to establish integrated farm estates (IFE) across the 109 senatorial districts across the country, the National President Middle Belt Forum (NBF) Dr. Bitrus Pogu speaks with Isaac Shobayo on the policy and position of the NBF regarding it. He was asked, "What is the position of the Middle Belt Forum on the plan by the federal government to establish integrated farm estates in all of the 109 senatorial districts in the country?" He responded, "Is it a cattle colony or Ruga in disguise? All that this government is interested in is just to acquire land through funny policies for the Fulani. It is another strategy to reintroduce cattle colonies, Ruga, and grazing reserves, which the people have rejected. Since the inception of this administration, most of the policies of the government revolve around cattle in a bid to acquire lands for the Fulanis. We're not against our local Fulani being accommodated and living like any other Nigerian, so that they can ranch their cattle instead of moving around, causing problems for everybody. However, the policy of this administration refuses to acknowledge and accept the fact that a lot of Fulani roaming our streets and forests are not Nigerians. The government wants to take over our lands and hand them over to these people for their political reason and political domination. We cannot accept it, no matter the way it is presented to us. It is like the president is more interested in the welfare of these foreign Fulani than that of our tribes in the country. He started with cattle colony, Ruga, ranching, national livestock transformation plan, recovery of cattle roads, and grazing reserves. All these policies were just a ploy to placate the Fulani. Mr. President has refused to listen to other Nigerians. The government simply wants to take over our land through every available means for the Fulani, which is what we cannot accept. We in the Middle Belt know our local Fulani. Other communities in Nigeria know them too. Let whatever policy the government wants to bring to us ranching be community-based. Our stand is that the foreign Fulani should be taken back to their countries by revisiting ECOWAS protocols on free movement. Is it because the President Buhari has Fulani blood in him that he wants to populate Nigeria with Fulani from Burkina Faso, Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and other places? Nigerians will continue to kick against this until the president listens to them. This farming estate in 109 senatorial districts in Nigeria is deceitful. Those behind it are not sincere. It is another way of land grabbing for Fulani. Next, he was asked, the federal government's position is that the farming estate is part of the policy to develop agriculture towards boosting food production in the country. What is your take on this? He responded, agriculture has so many facets, which include animal husbandry, growing of cereal, and others are all parts. And I want to tell Nigerians that the program that is about to be unveiled is designed to accommodate all forms of agricultural practices, including animal husbandry. So what type of agriculture is the federal government talking about? When the government wants to acquire lands, they bring all manner of policies, but Nigerians cannot be fooled. Let the government come out and explain itself. It has been a different type of wine in the same old scheme. Since the inception of this administration, the government just keeps changing the nomenclature at different intervals to force these foreign Fulani on Nigerians. But it will be good if the government can come out clean and clear on the issue. We're tired of foreign Fulani coming to kill our people. We have tolerated them for long enough. It is time for them to leave. The evils they are perpetrating are enough. The fear of Fulani is everywhere. While we in the Middle Belt are not in support of the farming estates, as it is a grand ploy to acquire land for Fulani. The land belongs to every community in Nigeria and people know their boundaries. In my Chibok area, if I want to acquire land for animal husbandry, I'll have to buy the land. Nobody gives free land because every price of land belongs to one family or the other. All forests belong to somebody, and when you want to take over that which belongs to one indigenous tribe and hand it over, it cannot work. Definitely, there will be resistance. We are not against the local Fulani acquiring land, and we are not against assisting them to have land in whatever way, but we are against a blanket takeover of ancestral land and handing it over to the Fulani, be it local or foreign. The federal government in the past introduced various agricultural programs and policies that cut across different parts of the country, such as Agricultural Development Program (ADP), among many others. Why then is it difficult to improve on all of these? The government knows what it is doing. It has a direction which might not be clear to some Nigerians. When this government came up with the idea of cattle colony, it became suspect because we told the government to address the problem of Fulani first, but the government just changed the idea of cattle colony to Ruga, claiming it was not the Ruga that we know. Before the controversies over this could settle, it came up with the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP. All these are the same thing and a grand plan to settle some people. Recently, the president gave a directive that cattle routes in the country should be recovered. Tell me how that is going to be possible. Now, it is farming estates. The government is just looking for a way to grab lands for the Fulani. We have seen examples of this in Kaduna, the Luduga project. The British, during the colonial rule, wanted to settle the natives of the land. The document is still there for everyone to go and check as they never settled anybody. But today, the government has taken away the land and allowed Fulani to settle there. We have seen it with our Kurukuru eyes. If this is replicated in other places, this country will burn. Don't you think the proposed farm estates would boost agriculture and further empower the local farmers? Forget about this. What have they done with the previous policies? Don't be deceived. It is just to make the Fulani have a settlement across the country. The major problem of the country today is insecurity. Most farmers in the country can no longer access their farms for fear of being killed by these Fulani herdsmen. If the government wants to promote agriculture in whatever form, let it address the issue of insecurity first. Our concern is, why are they accommodating foreign Fulani despite their atrocities in this country? Our constitution clearly defines who is a Nigerian. These people are creating problems for us, but our government has refused to take decisive actions. The posture of the government is legitimizing their stay to continue to kill us. We in the Middle Belt will continue to oppose it. But the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association recently called on the National Assembly to stop the Southern governors from going ahead with implementation on the ban on open grazing. These Miyetti Allah people are pushing their luck too far. If they continue pushing, and when the chips are down, everybody is fed up, there might be genocide in this country. The people of Nigeria have been exercising patience. Let them tread softly, because before this time, only a few people disliked the Fulanis, but they have now created a terrible situation whereby virtually every Nigerian dislikes them. This is not good for them, and I'm advising them to have a rethink. What is difficult for the federal government to brand the killer herdsmen as terrorists despite their heinous atrocities? I'm not the federal government. If the government has its bias, then it's its own business. If the federal government refused to arrest a group of criminals because they belong to a particular tribe, that is their business, and quite unfortunate. It is up to them to know that they have failed. Let them retrace their steps and do the right thing. We have told them severally to classify them as terrorists. They refuse. But as far as we are concerned, they are terrorists. What is the way out? The issue is hanging on political will. I'm confident our military has the capacity to wipe out these terrorists, but the federal government should allow them do their jobs professionally.